All right, and we are live. I think we're live. Are we live? I don't know. Are we live? The wife is not here yet, so just leave now. There's no point in watching this show, I think. All right, no, she should be coming. I should text her to find out if she's on her way. Valeria, will you be home soon? She is working. Let's see what her response is. Let's see, is there anything that I've been considering lately? I've been considering moving, that's for sure. I genuinely feel like I'm in an ivory tower, right? Because I am obviously in a tower, and I do feel somewhat isolated from the world, which is terrible. I don't want to be in an ivory tower. I want to be on the ground, walking around like a normal person, you know, staying fit and healthy. But currently, no, I'm stuck on a desk job. I was just thinking about this I was just talking about this with my buddy Kurt, and it's like, you know, this is the reason why everybody's fat these days, right? It's because historically, people didn't have jobs like this where they could just sit at a desk and talk to a camera. You know, people working in a coal mine, or they were, even if you worked at like a printing press or something like this, you had to walk around the factory, you had to walk around the floor of the place. You probably had to walk to work and home from work, and you were walking a lot. That was part of life. And I don't walk at all, man. I get my groceries from Instacart. I don't leave I can go for 2 weeks without leaving this place. It's terrible. She ran away with some gray-haired cat, said Bigfoot the chipmunk. Well, then who the hell is that? Because there is another gray cat here. He's making some noise. Well, hopefully Valeria gets here soon enough to shut Aston up. Oh, by the way, somebody commented the other day that picture on my back wall, look, they said, who is that on your back wall? Is that Beto O'Rourke? That seems weird that you would have that picture. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have a picture of Beto O'Rourke on my wall. Come on, man. Come on, man. No, it's Ronald Reagan. This is Mr. Reagan. The show is Mr. Reagan. That's Ronald Reagan from Time Magazine, 1981. Very happy to have that, by the way. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm reading some of your comments. You guys are spot on. I can't do that. I can't be distracted. What I have to do, or what I think I should do here is, that's not right, is get on with the news. Let's see here. There we go. So this is going to be story number 1. This is actually quasi-breaking news. James O'Keefe has been banned from Twitter. This is incredibly frustrating. This is really super annoying. I was actually just debating somebody the other day about the validity of James O'Keefe's reporting and Project Veritas, and I was trying to explain that, James O'Keefe has been criticized for a very long time for spreading fake news, for doctoring the videos that he produces and all that kind of stuff. And this person who I was texting was sending me reports, they sent me a report from NPR that said James O'Keefe spreads disinformation. And I had to, but they said it was like from 2017. And I'm like, guy, these are from 2017. You got to keep up with these stories. James O'Keefe has obviously challenged many of the newspapers and news organizations like CNN who have reported that he's spreading misinformation. He's doctoring the videos, and it's fake news and all this kind of stuff. And he's proven in many instances that he's not spreading fake news, that he doesn't doctor the videos. He puts out all the videos raw so that everybody can see exactly what's going on and determine for themselves what the truth is. And so all of these papers and all these shows, they always have to print retractions. And in some cases, when they refuse, James O'Keefe takes them to court. And James O'Keefe has never lost a lawsuit because of this kind of thing, right? I don't think he's ever lost a lawsuit at all, but specifically about printing things that are untrue or reporting about things that are untrue, he's never lost. And right now he's he's involved in a case with the New York Times, and he's winning that as well. So let's go ahead and read this. Twitter bans Veritas founder James O'Keefe, and he's threatening a lawsuit of Twitter as well, and I love that. I love that he's just immediately. I guess he's probably been guessed that for a long time. This is probably a long time coming, because Twitter has a pattern of blocking people, censoring people, just because of political speech that they don't like, not because anybody's actually violated any of their terms of service. I did 3 whole videos breaking down an interview that Jack Dorsey did. I was going to say James Dorsey for some reason. Jack Dorsey did with Joe Rogan, and they had Tim Pool on there, and they were all chit-chatting, and Tim Pool was challenging them on a lot of points, because Tim Pool, is obviously very knowledgeable about this. He knows a lot of people that have been censored off Twitter. He's followed these cases for a long time. He's very aware of Twitter just banning people seemingly unjustly. And so the questions that they asked in the response that they got from Jack Dorsey and his minion Vijaya, this woman Vijaya, she does all the the censorship. She's the censorship czar, I guess you would call her. And they just didn't have any good answers. Everything was basically like, well, they violate our terms of service. And then Joe Rogan and Tim Pool would show them, well, actually, look, this person did the same thing. You didn't block them. And they go, well, if you read our terms of service, technically they didn't violate it. And it became very obvious that their terms of service are malleable or up to interpretation based on, whether they want to censor you or not. And of course, we all know they want to censor conservatives. They don't want to censor leftists. And so leftists, somehow the terms of service are always interpreted in some way that, not terms of service, what do they call it? Their guidelines or whatever it is. So somehow their rules are always interpreted in such a way that is generous, and positive to a leftist, to anybody who's a Democrat. And then it's obviously the most uncharitable interpretation for a conservative. They always get banned or punished in some way on Twitter. So we see here, let's go ahead and just read some of this. This is in Forbes. Forbes is obviously a more of a left-wing publication. This is not a right-wing publication. So people think I'm just going into right-wing publications. Obviously, I am not. I just read the news as I find it. Let's see here. Twitter permanently banned Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe on Thursday, accusing the controversial right-wing personality of violating the social network's spam and platform manipulation rules. But O'Keefe says he plans on suing Twitter in response. See, this is a weird thing. I've never actually heard about Twitter banning anybody specifically for this reason. Their spam rules. This is a new rule. It's like they put up all these rules specifically so that they can. Twitter rules, as far as I'm concerned, do not exist for any kind of utilitarian purpose. They're not there to help create harmony or peace or unity or anything good. Oh, Valeria says she's going to be here at 6:30, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get her halfway through the broadcast. They're simply there as weapons, right? They created these rules as weapons so that they can feel justified in taking people off the platform that they don't like, and they can say, oh, look, we're justified because we had this rule in place already. Well, maybe you had the rule in place there just so you could take people off that you don't like. So it's all BS, right? The rules are BS. But let's see here. So it says, key facts. O'Keefe's suspension is permanent, a Twitter spokesman told Forbes. The spokesperson cited Twitter's platform manipulation and spam rules, which prohibit users from running fake accounts and using multiple accounts to artificially amplify or disrupt conversations, though the company did not point to any specific infraction. I don't believe that James O'Keefe did this. I don't believe Project Veritas did this. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. My guess is that at some point somebody probably used a fake Twitter account to talk to somebody, and get Project Veritas some kind of information, and then Twitter somehow connected that to Project Veritas, and that was what they used as justification. It's probably some kind of convoluted thing like that. They're targeting Project Veritas. They're trying to get rid of them, and so they're probably looking for some way to do it. My guess is that the reason that James O'Keefe is off Twitter right now is because he just dropped an amazing story from CNN. It was a CNN technical director who came out and basically just, I guess he was having drinks at restaurants with some people, and they got some undercover video of him basically saying that, yes, CNN is pure propaganda. We're told to produce this propaganda. this technical director agreed with it, and he was like, yeah, this is just to benefit Democrats, this is just to benefit us and CNN, and it has nothing to do with the truth. And, to me, this was like an earth-shattering revelation. I mean, this was fantastic. This should be news that's on every single news channel. This should be in every single newspaper. But, of course, the left, controls much of the media, so you won't see it in many places. But it was so damning. It was so, it made CNN look so bad that I think that they probably reached out to Twitter and said, can you get Project Veritas out of here? Or maybe the people at Twitter just didn't like it. And they're like, oh, he's making CNN look bad. We don't like that. And they got rid of him. I don't know. O'Keefe told Forbes in a statement he plans on suing Twitter for defamation next week, denying that he ever operated fake accounts. And I believe him because he keeps winning lawsuits. So, the stuff he's saying has been proved in court. So, he's a reliable guy. He's a hell of a lot more reliable than, say, the New York Times or CNN or MSNBC or any of these places. Key background. Project Veritas is known for carrying out hidden camera stings on media outlets and left-wing groups. That's actually very fair. That's what they do. And it's often accused of posting deceptive videos and spreading out-of-context claims. Despite the fact that I don't think they even should have put that in there, that is in fact true. They are often accused of posting deceptive videos. And then they put in parentheses here, the group has denied these allegations. Not only have they denied the allegations, they've disproved those claims, which is what they probably should have put in here. Most recently, the group released a sting of videos targeting... A sting. Sorry, sting was earlier. I read it again. Most recently, the group released a string of videos targeting CNN. It leaked audio from months worth of CNN editorial meetings last year, and it posted videos of an apparent CNN staffer claiming not just a staffer, technical director. I mean, it's a pretty important guy over there at CNN, claiming the network deliberately tried to undermine former President Donald Trump and his allies. I mean, there's so much good stuff in there. He talked about how they went after Donald Trump with no evidence, just speculation, but presenting it as news, specifically trying to get Trump out of office, specifically trying to help Biden, specifically trying to make Biden look like he's healthy when they don't think he actually is. He talked about how this attack on Matt Gaetz, although they have no evidence to actually support any kind of accusation against Matt Gaetz, they're going after him hardcore because they don't like him. He's a Republican, and he's aggressive, and he's difficult for the Democrats, and so they wanted to try to take him out. So they're acting like a hitman, trying to take out Matt Gaetz. And all these guys are going after Matt Gaetz, even though Matt Gaetz is probably innocent of anything he's being accused of. That doesn't matter. They're going to make it look as much as they can like he's guilty, whether or not he's even ever actually officially accused of anything. Let's see here. Project Veritas was itself suspended from Twitter 2 months ago for violating the social network's privacy information policy. O'Keefe was temporarily logged out of his account at the time, but was later reinstated. The privacy thing is kind of funny. Like, if you post, like, this person works at CNN, and they're like a CNN reporter and everybody knows it, is that a violation of privacy? Obviously not. And certainly if a Democrat posted that about a Fox reporter, that would be fine. But that's the kind of weird thing where you could, CNN or the people at Twitter might say, oh, this is a violation of our privacy policy, and then ban somebody. And that kind of thing does happen sometimes. And then what usually happens when it's something as egregious as that is that they'll let the person out of Twitter jail, and they'll say, oh, that was a mistake. But it only is ever a mistake. They only ever make mistakes against conservatives. They never seem to make mistakes against leftists. And they never seem to ban leftists. All of this kind of stuff, it only ever goes one way. It's anti-conservative. I mean, we know what the story is, guys. All right, surprising fact. Let's read the surprising fact. If O'Keefe follows through on suing Twitter, it won't be the first defamation suit. Oh, that's not that surprising, is it? Project Veritas is currently suing the New York Times for calling one of its reports deceptive, and he threatened to sue CNN for similar reasons this week. And that's the entire story, because it was pretty, like, this, I was on top of the story, like, as soon as it broke, and I put it in my, on my show for today, but I didn't, but I got it pretty early today, so I didn't look for any updates. I don't know if there's anything else going on here, but yeah, we talked yesterday about what James O'Keefe had put forward with regard to the CNN story, which was fantastic. We went over that yesterday. And so this is the consequence, ladies and gentlemen. If you are an effective conservative, the leftist media will come after you and they will try to destroy you in ways that are totally unjustified, but they will pretend to justify it, right? That's what the left does. And the reason that they try to pretend to justify it, I think, is because I think that if they started to, like, unjustly censor conservatives and unjustly punish conservatives in the public sphere in an unfair way, I think it would become so obvious that there is a certain segment of the Democrat voting public who would shift right, or at least shift into a more moderate position and stop voting in Democrats. And so you've got, and they'd stop watching leftist news, and they'd realize a lot of it is fake. And the problem with Democrats, I think, is that a lot of times they are aware that, we talked about this yesterday, they're aware that the Democrats are sneaky and kind of a bit like criminals, but they don't care because they think that the goals are right. And I don't think that's right at all. And I'm not sure how far you have to push somebody who believes that until they're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is unethical. We shouldn't be doing this. And then maybe move over to the right, because it's gotten so bad these days that I can't even imagine somebody seeing what's going on, with open eyes, really paying attention, and not recognizing that what the left is doing is absolutely corrupt and totally unacceptable and moving right. I don't understand it, because so I had a thought yesterday. I don't know. Did I bring this up on the show? I don't know. But I had a thought that was like, we have, sorry, I'm trying to, good Lord. Hold on a second, guys. Oh, there we go. All right. I'm going to switch to me now. Okay. Conservatives have three things that are handicaps for us in the political sphere and in with what I do, right, in media as well. It's that we have principles, right? Our ideas, our philosophy, our political philosophy is based in principles, and we have ethics, right? So that's one problem, because having political principles and having ethics, it does restrict what you're capable of doing in a kind of ideological war, right? Then another thing that handicaps us a little bit is that we're honest, or at least we try to be honest, right? We express our views honestly. We try not to deceive we certainly don't ever intentionally deceive the audience. I mean, we can be wrong, I suppose. But, every conservative that I'm aware of in media, all the ones that I know personally and all the ones that I watch, as far as I know, we all basically have the same fundamental idea about reporting accurate information, right? If we're wrong about something, okay, but, and we'll say we were wrong about something. But every single one of us wants to report what we believe is true. The left is not constrained by this, right? They're very dishonest in their reporting. We know that, right? So that is another huge handicap. And then the third handicap we have is that we have been, over the past few decades, Republicans have been very kind to leftists. There was this idea, I think, back in like the 80s, that conservatives were the meanies. They were the brutal party. They were the cruel party. They were the party of people who didn't care about immigrants and didn't care about minorities and didn't care about women and didn't care about gay people and all this kind of stuff. We didn't care about the most vulnerable people in society. We didn't care about poor people, right? This was the message. And so George Bush Jr., if you remember, he even came out with this concept of compassionate conservatism. That's how bad the image of Republicans got. Despite the fact that everything Republicans do is to improve the quality of life of every American, despite that, we had to come out with this branding of compassionate conservative, because that's how badly the left had smeared us and how effectively their branding of us was. It was terrible. And so we've been sort of, I think, indulging in this compassionate conservative idea for like a long time. Like, that's how we want to be perceived. And I think that's why, I don't remember what year it was, but John McCain actually got the presidential nomination for the Republican Party. He was running for president. He was our guy. And why McCain? McCain's not like a far-right conservative. He doesn't really represent us. He's more of a moderate. If anything, he was a bit of a rhino. I mean, everybody believes that he's a rhino. Why would we bring a rhino up to represent us? Well, it's because conservatives were so scared that the average leftist Democrat voter and even moderates, were so convinced that Republicans were these evil, horrible meanies that we had to bring people in that were much more sympathetic to leftist ideas. Was that a mistake at the time? I mean, I don't know. That was back before the internet was, easily accessible by everyone, and all this information was just being spread all the time on the internet. Now it's much easier for us to combat these, when we are maligned, it's much easier for us to combat this kind of stuff. So I think now we're in a much safer position to bring in much more hardcore conservatives. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is we're never going to be able to change the fact that we're a principled party. We're never going to be able to change the fact that we have ethics, right? We can't shift away from that, because then we'll be the bad guys, right? We can't shift away from our desire to be honest, right? We can't shift away from honesty. We have to be honest with the public. But the one thing we can change is how kind we are. Now, I'm not saying that people should be unkind in their personal lives. I think, if anything, we actually benefit by, if you're having a debate with a Democrat, being kind to that Democrat in your personal life. However, when it comes to the national stage, national political stage, when it comes to the media, we have to be ruthless. We have to stop being kind. We have to just obliterate these people. And there were several times when I was trying to report on Joe Biden, and I felt bad for him, man, because despite the fact that I believe that he's a criminal, right? I believe that he's a crook. I believe he stole money from the American people. Aid money that was going into Ukraine, I believe, went back into the pockets of his son, Hunter Biden. I believe that was a scheme. I believe that was a scam. I think similar things happened in China. I believe that his son took bribes on his behalf to moderate, to change American international policy toward these foreign countries. Stuff that he was in charge of. His son took bribes on his behalf to do that. I believe that's true. So I think that Joe Biden is absolutely a criminal. But he's so unbelievably old. He's so unbelievably frail. You just feel sorry for the guy sometimes. He's not even in control now. Other people are manipulating him, so you feel bad for him. So sometimes, I'd have my finger on the trigger. I'd be making a video. This is going to be interpreted in some malicious way by leftists. But, I'd be ready to put out a video that was going to attack Joe Biden viciously. And as I'm editing it, or just as I'm going to post it, I'll feel bad, right? I'll feel this sense of almost guilt or almost regret, like I'm going to attack this poor old man, But fortunately, I also have other guiding things in my life, right? Like I feel an almost supernatural compulsion to put that video out, despite the fact that I might have a misgiving. It's almost like, I feel compelled, like, okay, no, despite the fact I feel bad for this guy, I can't let that sympathy become a weakness and stop me from going after him. And I think all of the conservatives on social media, all of the conservatives who do what I do on like YouTube or Newsmax or Fox or whatever. A lot of you guys hate Fox. I think I said something sympathetic about Fox in one of my last videos, and everybody got mad at me, like, how can you be sympathetic of Fox? But the point I'm trying to make is we all have to be, none of us can allow ourselves to be sympathetic of these criminal Democrat politicians. We must attack them ruthlessly, because otherwise, we're losing right now, guys. We do not have Congress. We do not have, the executive branch right now. There's somebody else in the White House. So we need the honest people to take over. And if we're going to win, we still have to maintain our ethics. We still have to maintain our honesty. But we need to do away with the just ridiculous level of kindness. We're too damn nice to these disgusting, degenerate Democrats. We need to destroy them. Okay, we need to destroy them politically. All right. Sorry for that long rant, but, I get worked up about this stuff. All right. I would ask Valerie to read the next story, but unfortunately she's not here, so I got to read it myself. Hold on a second. Here we go. All right. Article number 2. Democrats plan. Let me try that again. Democrats plan to pack the Supreme Court with 4 additional judges. Okay, so this is an interesting story because... Let's see here. This is an interesting story because this was actually later rejected by Nancy Pelosi. And I'm like, why would Nancy Pelosi reject that? Now, my guess is that whoever's pulling the strings on Nancy Pelosi said, not yet. This isn't the way. This isn't the way we're doing it. We've got another plan in place. So just stick with the plan, right? All right, let's see here. Democrats unveil plan to pack Supreme Court with 13 justices. Well, they're not really packing with 13 judges. They're packing it with 4 more justices. So it would go from 9 justices to 13. So let's see here. Democrat politicians on Thursday unveiled their plan to expand the U.S. Supreme Court from the current 9 justices to 13, a proposal that has been roundly criticized as court packing to meet political needs. We're here today because the United States Supreme Court is broken, said Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey at a press conference on the steps of the nation's highest court in Washington, D.C. It's out of balance and it needs to be fixed. Okay, just because there are more conservatives on the Supreme Court than Democrats, or more conservatives than leftists, that doesn't mean the court is broken. Why does that mean the court is broken? It's just because the court's ideological makeup is such that you're not happy about it. That doesn't mean it's broken. I mean, the rhetoric these people use is ridiculous. So court packing has a very specific definition, by the way, guys. Court packing is very specifically adding new justices to the court in order to change the ideological makeup of the court. That's it. There's no other definition of court packing. But when you discuss this with leftists, the new talking point, and I've seen this all over, I've seen it on Twitter, people have sent me personal messages about this. Leftists seem to believe now, and that this is what they keep saying, and so naturally this is what people think, that court packing is just nominating justices of one political party. But that's what always happens. That's what happens with whomever is president. They always nominate justices of their party. I don't think it's ever been true that any justice or any president ever in history, as far as I know, will have nominated justices from both parties. They always nominate justices from their own party or from their own, of their own political persuasion. So this, hey, we've got a special guest here for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. It's my wife, Valeria Coles. Hello, darling. How was work? All right. Well, we're all waiting for you. Everybody wants to see you. That's okay. You can look like a homeless person. Nobody cares. Oh, you smell like... Why do you smell like a homeless person? That's what I want to hear. Yeah, you can pee and wash your hands. Thank you for saying that out loud for the whole world to hear. Okay, let's see here. So, what was I talking about? Yeah. So they're trying to redefine the term court packing so that it becomes more of a tit for tat as opposed to just something that they're doing that's corrupt, right? So if they do something that seems extreme or corrupt or unjustified, it's much, much better for them if they can say, actually the Republicans did something bad first, so we're just reacting to that. We're trying to balance out their corruption by acting in this way ourselves. This is actually just a course correction as opposed to them just completely acting corruptly, which is exactly what they're doing. So they're redefining the term court packing so what they're doing doesn't sound so bad. It's sort of like when they decided that, the concept of racism is actually bigotry plus power. You have to have power, and it can't just be that you're the president of the United States. You have to have systemic power over a long period of time, so it has to be. So only white people can be racist because we're redefining the term racist, right? They like redefining terms so that it doesn't apply to them, and in very specific ways. It's this. It's a tactic of a weaker opponent, right? If you have two people fighting, and one person employs certain kinds of tactics because they know they're weaker, the stronger person can still lose, despite the fact that they are a superior fighter or whatever the competition is, right? A superior sportsman. If the other person's just really good at cheating because they know that they have to cheat because they're weak and they're inferior, they can still win. So Democrats are employing this tactic of, well, we're going to redefine terms so that we sound better. That's just a sign that they're weak and they know they're weak. All right, so this guy says, I'm disappointed to say that too many Americans question the court's legitimacy. The consequence is the right of all Americans, but especially people of color, women, and our immigrant communities are at risk. This is like constant at this point. Democrats, every single issue, they'll say, "Oh, this is a racial issue somehow." Like, how the hell is it even a racial issue? This doesn't make any sense. And he's saying, I'm disappointed to say too many Americans question the court's legitimacy. No one questions the court's legitimacy. I have never heard this. I've never heard this from anyone. You may need to change the focus because you sat way closer than I expected you to. Yeah. I've never heard anybody talk about, the court legitimacy or anything like that. This is just something this guy's making up to make himself sound right. Markey, who is co-sponsoring the bill, the Judiciary Act of 2021, with New York Representative Gerald Nadler. Yeah, he's the one that looked like he shat himself and had to waddle off of the stage that one time. You guys remember? And Mondaire Jones. Mondaire? I've never heard that name. And Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia. Oh, Hank Johnson of Georgia is sponsoring this bill. Well, it must be brilliant if Hank Johnson sponsored it. Hank Johnson, for those of you who don't remember, is the guy who said that he believed that Guam could flip over if we put too many troops on one side of the island. Hank Johnson seems to think that islands float and that if you put too much weight on one side of them, they will flip over in the ocean.
Is it not like this?
Is it? No. Shockingly, darling. It isn't like that. No. Islands are more like mountains in the sea.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No, you didn't? Oh, well, now you know.
I'm kidding.
The Russian education isn't so good these days. All right, let's see here. Markey, who's co-sponsoring the bill. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Okay. And Hank Johnson accused Republicans of stealing seats in the coveted court. I don't really understand that. I mean, I understand what they're saying. I understand that they're all angry because of who is that guy that Republicans didn't let him come up for a vote for no, you don't know. How could you possibly know? I don't remember his name, but anyway, he's now like Attorney General or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, back in the Obama era, Mitch McConnell said he wasn't going to let Obama pick one of the justices because it was too late in his term. And it was a little bit of political shenanigans. Okay, I'll be honest. It was a little bit of political shenanigans. But, it was like a political a chess move, right? But Democrats were incensed by this. I mean, they thought this was the worst thing that ever happened. Who was that guy? Who's that guy?
Am I in focus?
Are you in focus? I'll have to look.
Am I like...
No, totally out of focus, actually.
I'm totally...
You really messed that up. Obama judge denied was called... Oh, that's not right. Oh, Merrick Garland. There we go. Yeah, so it was the Merrick Garland situation where, Obama wanted this... It's still not really in focus, but okay, we'll just deal with it. Merrick Garland wasn't allowed to be a justice, and Democrats went crazy. And I'm not even really sure why. I mean, like, why do they care so much about Merrick Garland? What's so special about Merrick Garland? They just felt like, those tricky Republicans got a political ploy. Like, all the Democrats do is cheat in politics. Mm-hmm. Mitch McConnell uses one dirty trick, and they lose their minds. They're like, no, Republicans aren't allowed to use dirty tricks. Only we're allowed to use dirty tricks. If Republicans do one nasty thing, well, then, if they get us with a sucker punch, well, then we got to pull out the frickin', M16. We got to pull out the bazooka and kill them all. They go nuclear like instantly. They're just like, okay, you did one dirty trick. We're going to pull out the entire bag of dirty tricks. We're going to make Puerto Rico a state. We're going to make D.C. a state. We're going to make mail-in voting the standard. We're going to, we're going to change the voting age. I mean, they're going to pack the court. They're doing all this nasty stuff to make it so that we'll never win another election.
Voting age?
I think that's what's going to happen.
To what? 14?
I think it's going to be something like 16 or something, probably.
Once I read this thing from a guy. He was like, they want to lower voting age to age 16. And he was like, I remember myself at age 16. Me and my friend, we bought an alive lobster, put a leash on him, and just walked around the neighborhood with a live lobster on a leash.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, kids are stupid.
16.
Yeah, I don't think 18-year-olds should vote. I think if Republicans get a supermajority in the next election, we need to actually raise the voting age to like 26 or something like that. I'm gonna kill that cat. Don't worry, everything I'm throwing at him is soft and gentle. I wouldn't throw something hard. I could throw something hard, but I'm not going to. Aston. You're home. See, this is the problem. You're home. He loves Valeria. He loves Valeria so much, and she can't play with him because she's working. But anyway, yeah. So they're employing all these dirty tricks, and this is one of them. Packing the court is, of course, one of the things. And I warned everybody about this. I said, if they get into power, they're going to do all these things so that we never can get another conservative ever elected ever again. They're dirty tricksters, I'm telling you. But I think we can fight them. I still have hope. I still am an eternal optimist. Darling. Yeah, that's terrible. Well, would you like to read the next story?
Which one is next? Which one was the last one? Okay. Kamala Harris is missing at the border, so someone put her face on a milk carton. Carton? Yeah. What do you mean missing at the border? She refused to go at the border when Biden said, "Oh, Kamala is gonna go and check on the border," and she went to Chicago to some bakery and stuff. Do you know that?
Hold on. I think you read a story that was like you read like story number 6 or something.
No, it's 4.
Yeah, I said 3.
Oh, I thought it was 3.
No. Go back to 3 later. We'll just do this one now. Okay, this is kind of backwards, but yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to text my editor guy. I have an editor that cuts these, and
I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. So Steve Scalise. This is a Steve Scalise. So, oh man, sorry guys. Let's hear. Steve Scalise says VP Harris is MIA at the border, so he put her face on a milk carton. Now, this is kind of a funny story. It's not really a particularly great news story, but it is really funny. So he literally, now he didn't actually show this at the press conference. He just kind of had it with him. I think he meant to present it. Excuse me. Got a little bit of heartburn. But he's not, but he didn't actually present it, so people just got pictures of it. It's pretty funny. House Minority Whip Steve Scalise argued Wednesday that Vice President Kamala Harris has been missing in action with regard to U.S. Because, remember, she was supposed to be heading up the whole border thing.
Yeah.
And now she's like, we're going to go to the source. We're going to go to Honduras and talk to those people. It's like the source of the problem is your policies. Like, that's the source of the problem. I mean, granted, there's a source of one of the sources of the problem is America is just too prosperous. So I guess the Biden administration is like, you know what's going to stop illegal immigrants from coming to America? If America is so crappy that it's actually worse than their countries. In fact, I'm going to put that in Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Remind me to tweet that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put that in one of my notes. Let's see, make America
Crappy
worse than Guatemala. Yeah. Anyway, that'll work. Yeah, and then nobody will want to come here. All right, let's see here. Nearly 3 weeks after Harris was tapped by President Joe Biden to take control of the situation at the border, Scalise and many others have noted that she has yet to make a single trip to the area. But you know why she's not doing that is because the footage of it, if she goes, is going to be like photos and video taken. It's not going to look good.
No.
it's just going to look like a disaster. At Wednesday's press conference, Scalise said that the crisis at the border had been created by the Biden administration and rolled back numerous policies implemented by former President Donald Trump that he said had been working to minimize the flow of illegal immigration. Let's listen to him say this. He's absolutely right, by the way.
This is going to be something we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to raise awareness to this crisis at America's southern border. It was exclusively created by President Biden when he, with the stroke of a pen, right when he took the oath of office, undid policies that were working to control our southern border. It had a ripple effect that immediately resulted in people coming by the thousands a day illegally across the Rio Grande and other parts of our southern border. With the members that have gone down the border, they've all seen the same things. We went with Border Patrol agents. We went to a shift change, and then they took us out to one of the temporary processing centers right by the Rio Grande River. And it was alarming. And this is going to be something we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to raise awareness.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with him more. This is a disaster of Biden's own making. I think everybody really knows that. I don't think the Democrats do, but because they just watch CNN. But this is funny. So he's got this here in his hand, and he doesn't use it. So my guess is that he was originally going to start out with this. He made the decision not to. And okay, this is kind of a silly example because this is obviously something that's very silly. Mm-hmm. This is like a funny joke. Like this is like a joke, right? But I actually think that jokes can be powerful. And this is what I'm talking about. You weren't here, but I was talking about how, and I think I talked to you about it earlier, like last night. Excuse me. Republicans have to be ruthless. We have to stop being so nice. What did you say about that? I remember you responded to me.
What did I say?
I don't know. I think you said, yes, Republicans are too nice.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, we've been so nice lately. We just kind of let Democrats push us around. And something like this, he could have presented this, but he decided he went with another, idea that he had to present, and he decided to be more professional about it. But I don't think he should have. I think he should have used this carton, but somebody got some photos of it, so still got it on the internet, so that works. Missing at the border. I love that. Harris announced Wednesday that she would be traveling to Mexico and Guatemala in the coming days in an effort to get to the root cause of the large group of migrants heading toward the U.S.-Mexican border. And I guess that's it. That's the story. But yeah, it's not the root cause. There's two root causes. One, American success is always going to make people attracted to come here. Mm-hmm. The more successful we are, the better. We're the shining city on the hill. We're the place everybody wants to come to. Do we want to change that? I don't think so. The other thing that's bringing people here is our open border policy as espoused by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Oh, everybody should come here. Yeah, we should open the border totally. Like, how could you just take your kids from their parents' arms and put kids in cages? It's so horrible. We just let people in. So everybody thinks, we'll all be let in. All right, darling. I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Could you read not story number 5, but rather story number
4.
3? We're going to go back in time here.
It was 4.
Okay. Well, hold on. What's number 2?
Scientific American admits to pushing climate hysteria.
Yes, there we go.
That's the second one.
Oh, darling, I sent you another. I sent you a second one. Oh, okay. Well, anyway. Okay. Yeah, Scientific American is number 3.
Okay, then I should read about lone men.
No. That's the one I want. Scientific American. I want that one. Read that headline.
Okay.
All right.
Scientific American admits to pushing climate hysteria.
There we go. All right, we got it. Okay. Sorry, guys. We got these all out of order. I don't know why. Mine are in order. I don't know why yours are all out of order. All right. That's what happens when you get here 30 minutes late.
Chris, it's traffic and I was working. I
I know.
came from one work to another work. I slept 3 hours.
She's got to quit her job.
I slept 3 hours. I woke up 6 in the morning. So
You don't have to work. You got this job.
I have 4 jobs.
I know she does.
You remember,
She
right?
legitimately has 4 jobs. I'm giving her a hard time. She's like working her butt off every day.
I'm gonna
Which,
murder
by
you
the
later.
way, okay, even though I do want to get into this story, I do want to take an aside real quick to say that I don't really give advice about investments or anything like that. That's not really the world that I work in. But when was it? Like 2 months ago or something like that that I gave. So I did give one investment advice to people, and I was mocked by it. Actually, somebody reposted what I posted and mocked me on Twitter. But I turned out to be very, very right. There was, I don't know, a month ago, month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that.
Can you tell me the story and I'll tell you when what that happened?
The beginning of the Dogecoin phenomenon.
Well, it was June 29.
Oh, wow. Okay. So around that time, I don't know exactly what day it was. It was June 29th, I guess. Okay. I recognized that there was this bizarre cryptocurrency called Dogecoin that was it's kind of a joke cryptocurrency. But for whatever reason, people were starting to play with it. I think Elon Musk was saying that it was a good idea to invest in Dogecoin.
Well, he was making money on it. He's
Yeah.
pumping and dumping and making money on it, and people who follows him and also making money.
Yeah, so I recognized that it looked like... Sorry, darling. So I recognized that Dogecoin was probably a possibly decent investment for people. And I said, look, I don't know anything about crypto. I don't know anything about investments. But it looks like if you're interested in making money on your money and you have some money to play with, maybe consider putting it in Dogecoin, right? And one person actually retweeted my thing and said, ha ha ha, look at this idiot or something like that. I'm like, all right. I mean, maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm not. We'll find out. Turns out I am not an idiot. Although I did pull my money out a little bit too early, but I had a different plan of what to do with it. But I should have probably just kept it in because don't even. I will kill you. Because I actually talked with my friend Sydney Watson. She's got a pretty good YouTube channel out there, and we were talking about how to invest in it. And she kept her money in, and I took my money out, and she's made a lot more than I have. But Valeria has been doing a little bit of crypto investing. That's one of her 4 jobs. And I want to do a whole episode just with Valeria talking about her experience in crypto for my other channel, for Mr. Reagan. And we'll get there, and we'll do that one of these days. But for right now, darling, if people want to jump into crypto at the moment, they want to make some money on their money, because we've made actually quite a bit of money in the last couple of days. Like, I don't want to say how much we had invested and how much we made, but like what percent of increase in income did we make in the last couple of days based on the investment we made specifically in Doge?
You want specifically in Doge?
Yeah. What's the percent increase in our money that we put
For
in?
the last 2 days?
Yeah.
50%.
We made 50% income in 2 days, or 50% of what our initial investment was.
Initial investment, yeah.
Yeah, so you can make a lot of money real quick.
That initial investment 3 days ago.
Right.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she plays with money and did different things, but it's a volatile market. You can lose money too, so you got to be careful, but it's everything's going up right now. It's a bear market at the moment.
It's a bear market. It's the top of the bear market, almost the top, and it's going to last this summer, but it's September, October, November.
Right.
You want to be out.
So
by that
Valeria
time.
thinks a bear market is coming. So if you did want to invest in crypto, you should do so now. Now, this is not advice from
financial advice.
This is not financial advice. This is just what we're doing. But we're making some money on this. I mean, we're not making making a ton of money, but we're making a bit.
I'm just shocked because the first time when you called me, I was working. You called me, and it was like, Valeria, there's something going on with this Dogecoin. Can you put some money, see what happened? And I put $500 because I was like, I'm not gonna put more than $500.
Yep.
And in 2 hours, I'm pulling out $1,000. I was like, that was too easy. I was
Yes.
like, I like it.
Yeah.
And that's how I
That's
started.
how we kind of got involved
learning
in crypto.
stuff,
Yeah.
watching YouTube videos 24/7.
Well, you're missing a big step. There was a moment when I had you come in the room. I sat you down and I said, "This is what we're going to do. What we're going to do is you're going to start looking at YouTube videos. You're going to start investing in crypto. And I remember what you said was, there's no way I can learn this stuff. I'll never be able to do this. I'm not going to do this job. And I said, yes, you are. And I said, just watch some videos. You'll get a hang of it. And after a couple of days, she was obsessed. And she's like,
couple weeks.
yeah, well, she's like kind of an expert. I mean, it's pretty easy to learn the basics how to do that stuff.
I'm not an expert, but I'm kind of like not an idiot.
Right. But you're in tune. Okay, you're not an expert, of course, but you're kind of in tune with how it works. We don't have tons and tons of money. We're not like millionaire investors. We can't manipulate the markets.
No.
But there are some people out there who are trying to manipulate the markets.
You can become one.
If we're savvy investors, we can. But if you got a little bit of money that you want to grow in the next couple of months, it might not be a bad idea. The safest one is, of course, is Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, the safest one, of course.
So if you don't want to go into something that's too volatile, but you want to make more money than you can make in the stock market, go into Bitcoin, because that'll probably even keep going up even through the bear market, I would imagine.
It might have a correction because right now I think it's gonna be 100,000. I hope so, but then it might go back to 60 for correction, and then it will.
So
grow.
by
But
correction,
you
she
never
means
know.
there will be a drop.
You never know. There is a speculation that Walmart didn't release their what are they doing once a year? They're like releasing their investments or something like this.
Right.
And there is a possibility that they have something in Bitcoin.
Oh, and then when if they say that, then
and if it's true, if it's
everything's to the moon.
Everybody's like waiting for Walmart to release their.
Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. So guys, if you're kind of on the fence, you've been thinking about it, you might want to consider it. And the only reason I'm saying it has nothing to do with doesn't make us any money. It's just something that we're doing, and I want people to be able to enjoy the same kind of success we found with it. But like you said, September, you said maybe pull everything out. I think that's the conservative thing to do.
Or fixing your profits one by one. Like you see the portfolio went up, like take 20% profit and.
Yeah, if you're getting 20% profit in a month or something, just take it out.
And never sell at loss. And if you see the dip, buy more dip. Don't sell at loss, please.
Well, we'll do a whole video where we get into all the details of all that stuff.
I don't want to do the video because it's just like, man,
You're nervous because you're
2 months in crypto. Yes, I'm making some money.
But she's good, man. She's on the ball. I'm like, oh, I think we should take out now. She's like, hodl.
Hodl. I told you this morning, like hodl.
I tried to pull out money. I tried to pull out money last night from Doge. I was like, I had I had a little bit of money in on my own because she goes, oh, put in some of your own money real quick. I mean, it's all my money, but she's dealing with it. So, she goes, put in some on your Robinhood. So I threw in some money, and then I was like, I think this is a peak. I think we should jump out. And she's like, well, no. I said I think we should jump out. She literally physically jumped on my back, screaming, hodl, out loud so all the neighbors could hear, hodl. And she was trying to steal my phone so that she could delete the app so that I couldn't sell. I said, fine, I won't sell.
People talking about Chainlink. Actually, yesterday, I forgot about Coinbase.
Yeah.
I had like $60 in Chainlink in Coinbase. And for some reason, I went in the Coinbase app and it's like 170. I was like,
yeah.
Why did I forgot 6,000 there? I forgot $60 and
yeah.
Chainlink went up and I'm like 160. I was like, okay.
That's another fun thing about
I'll just leave it there.
Crypto. If you invest in a lot of different places, sometimes you forget something and then you come back
I forgot $60
a couple months later.
It's 160.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
nice.
I forgot a little bit in Bitcoin and it went up
$100
or something. It wasn't very much. It's like $30. But yeah. Okay, so I'm so sorry. That was a long detour there, but so why don't we do the next story, darling?
Okay, that's gonna be lone man stands up.
No, we still haven't done the Scientific American.
No, we didn't. Oops. Scientific American admits to pushing climate hysteria.
Okay, one more time for the edit.
For editor.
Yeah.
Scientific American admits to pushing climate hysteria.
Yeah, it's true. This is kind of funny. So Scientific American, which used to be a magazine and now it's like a website, I guess. There's an opinion writer here. I guess he's an editor at the magazine. He covers all the science stuff. He's basically admitting that they're using terminology to scare people. But he says that it's totally justified many times in the article. And I was reading this article and I thought it was something worth talking about. So let's get into it real quick. It says, we are living in a climate emergency and we're going to say so. Damn it. But here's the thing about this, guys. The one of the reasons I wanted to mention this article is because you will need to know, as you're watching the news, that this is going to be the next thing that they say. They used to say global warming, then they started saying climate change. Now they're all going to say climate emergency. And not only is this something that you should know about because I'm speculating on it, this is something that you should believe they're going to do because this guy's telling you that's what they all have already agreed on. They've agreed they're going to change the terminology to better scare the crap out of everybody. Because they're like, because people should be scared, damn it. Let me read this. And it's time to use the term more than 13,000 scientists agree that it's needed. I think a lot of times when they get these scientists to sign crap, it's sort of like peer pressure. You know, they've got these situations where people are like, do it or else you're a racist. And they go, okay, I'm not a racist. I'll sign it. You know what I mean? It's that sort of herd mentality. So this guy's watching a brush fire, which is supposed to indicate climate change, which they've never, ever, ever found any kind of correlation between brush fires and climate change, but whatever. Because by the way, if the climate is rising, we should have more humidity in the air, which should mean fewer fires. So the idea that there's more and like fewer droughts and stuff like that. So this idea that there's fires and stuff because of climate change doesn't make any sense. But anyway, moving on. An emergency is a serious situation that requires immediate action. When somebody calls 911 because they can't breathe, well, that's an emergency. When somebody stumbles on the sidewalk because their chest is pounding and their lips are turning blue, that's an emergency. I'm so glad that he so beautifully illustrated what an emergency was because I didn't know before reading this. Let's see here. Both people require help right away. Multiply those individuals by millions of people who have similar symptoms, and it constitutes the biggest global health... It's hard for me to read this. And it constitutes the biggest global health emergency in a century, the COVID-19 pandemic. Now consider the following scenarios. A hurricane blasts Florida. A California dam bursts because floods of piled water high up behind it. A sudden, record-setting cold snap cuts power to the entire state of Texas. These are also emergencies that require immediate action. Multiply these situations worldwide, and you have the biggest environmental emergency to beset the earth in millennia. Climate change. Now, were any of these things caused by climate change? No. Nobody thinks that they were. This guy's pretending that they were so that he can stoke hysteria because that's what these people do. Let's see here. Given the circumstances, Scientific American has agreed with major... Sorry, I got to do my idiot leftist voice. Given the circumstances, Scientific American has agreed with major news outlets worldwide to start using the term climate emergency. See, they've all conspired together to use this term because they know it will be more provocative and it'll be effective to scare people. In its coverage of climate change, an official statement about this decision and the impact we hope that it can have throughout the media landscape is below. This idea is not journalistic fantasy. Now, see, this is the thing that really I thought was actually really bewildering. He goes on this like staunch defense of him using this term. He's saying, "Well, this isn't journalistic fantasy," but like the readers of Scientific American are not typically climate skeptics. They're usually people who accept this idea of climate change and this kind of stuff. So you wouldn't need to defend it. You would just explain this is why we're doing it. It makes sense. It's rational. It's reasonable. But they're defending. They're sort of preemptively defending against criticism, and I feel like they're doing that not because of conservatives like myself who maybe don't think climate hysteria is appropriate, but rather against their own people who think maybe they're going a little bit too far and they're using propaganda. And the only reason I think he would suspect that is if he himself suspected that, in fact, he was doing something wrong, that he himself understands that, in fact, we're stoking hysteria and probably it's inappropriate, but they want to do it anyway. So I think it's very telling when he goes into this defense that he knows he's doing something shady here. This idea is not journalistic fantasy. We're on solid scientific ground, damn it. In January, Scientific American published an article about a study entitled World Scientists Warning of a Climate a climate emergency. So we had an article titled Climate Emergency. So now that term's totally appropriate because we published an article with that in it, with that term in it. So now that's the term, I guess. At the time, more than 11,000 scientists from 153 countries had signed a report to signify their agreement that the world is facing a climate emergency that requires bold action. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. I didn't have that on the thing. Darling, you got to tell me if I don't have the article up.
I'm looking, but there's a little bit late.
No. But you have a TV.
I do have a TV. Yes, I know. We do have a TV.
Well. Oh, actually, that doesn't show the thing, does it? Okay, my bad. Sorry. I'm criticizing Valeria. Totally.
You guys? Did you see that?
I'm an abusive husband. It's totally inappropriate.
Tomorrow there's gonna be like a black eye, like maybe some scratches on the face. You know?
You'll use makeup. All right, let's see here. All right. Okay. At the time, more than 11,000 scientists from 153 countries had signed a report to signify their agreement that the world is facing a climate emergency that requires bold action. As of April 9th, another 2,100 had signed on. As our article said, the adverse effects of climate change are much more severe than expected and now threaten both the biosphere and humanity. Blah, 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 blah. Seriously, no, it's really serious, people. It's serious. It's totally serious. Journalism should reflect what science says. The climate emergency is here. And here's our statement. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Oh, they're using COVID-19 as a model, is that what you're saying? The media's response to COVID-19 provides a useful model. Oh my gosh. They're using COVID-19 as a model. Don't they realize that COVID-19 was blown way out of proportion and like trampled on people's civil rights and like destroyed people's lives and bankrupt companies and like let old people die in their beds alone away from their families? Like using COVID-19, the COVID-19 response is not a good idea. Guided by science, journalists have described, and they totally got the science wrong on COVID. Like 1,000,000 times they got it wrong. Oh man, Didn't
you ask Siri what is the most powerful doctor in the world, and it says Bill Gates?
Yeah, if you ask Siri what the most powerful doctor in the world is, she'll say Bill Gates. She'll bring up articles on Bill Gates. Yeah.
Who is not even a doctor.
Who's not a doctor. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's.
And I like how they ask.
I think he dropped out of college.
I like how they ask CNN. I think ask his wife about vaccination and stuff, and she was like, of course, saying how good that is. And she's what degree she has? Marketing. Unbelievable.
I'm running out of stuff to throw at my cat.
Aston, come here.
I can't get up because I got these little short shorts on. It looks really funny. I'm in like workout clothes with a jacket. All right.
Do you want me to lock him up?
I think he's all right. Guided by science, journalists have described the pandemic as an emergency, chronicled by its devastating impacts, called out disinformation, and told audiences how to protect themselves, with masks and social distancing, for example. So he's using, we need the same commitment to the climate story. Our partner, so now we're going to have to wear a mask probably for climate change. I could imagine. As partners in covering climate now, a global consortium of hundreds of news outlets, we will present coverage in the lead up to Earth Day, April 22nd, 2021, around the theme Living Through the Climate Emergency. We invite journalists everywhere to join us. This is an opinion and an analysis article. An opinion and analysis article. That's a hard thing to say. All right. Well, anyway, I thought we should read that because you guys should know that we're about to receive an onslaught of climate change propaganda to try to create hysteria in America so that leftists can push their Green New Deal type policies. Anyway, so that's that. Darling.
Yes.
Shall we move on to the next story?
Okay, is that the story that I read like four times already?
Yes.
Okay. Lone man stands up to leftist rioters in Minnesota.
Yes.
I think there is a mistake in your title. I think it says protesters.
Protesters, yeah.
Not rioters.
Okay, wait. So this guy, I mean, this isn't really much of a news story. It's more of just a random video. But this guy is awesome. And it's a black guy, and I'm a Republican saying that a black guy is awesome, which I know is probably startling to some of you. Somebody, is there any leftists watching? Sit down. I'm about to call a black guy awesome, and I'm a conservative. But yeah, let's have a look at this. There's really not much to say. Just listen to this guy. He's amazing.
Hey, don't you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you dare start this shit! Not here tonight! Not here tonight! Don't you start this shit! Tonight! Don't you start this shit! Sorry for her, you're the ones that are starting that shit! Hey, not here tonight! Not fucking here tonight! None of these motherfuckers were motherfucking legends until we had this! I'm police act telling us to be peaceful. There's no such thing as fucking peaceful. You fucking kill us from the beginning, bro. Fuck you. Hey, hey, says I thought he was killed in my block. Hey, mother. Don't kill me, motherfucker. Hey.
Wow, exactly. I don't have the mics on right away, so you can't get Valeria's immediate reaction, but she just turned to me and she goes, wow. Yeah, that guy's a cool dude. I mean, I don't know what his political persuasion is, but I like that he's standing up to those rioters. I think that was great. I mean, he's a big dude, so I think he kind of scared a lot of them.
Yeah.
He was so mad that like his notes are like flying out of his pocket. Like, I mean, that was cool. That was some good passion. I mean, honestly, like, how many people are tough enough to stand up to the rioters like that? That was pretty ballsy.
Well, the reason why he is still alive is that he's black.
Yeah, if he was a white guy, they would have attacked him, I think.
100%.
That's the kind of sad thing about it.
Why he has this like white thing?
I think that was just a shirt.
I thought that there's like a preach.
I don't think he's a priest. Maybe he's a priest. That'd be nice. But
Priest.
anyway, I mean, we could read about the story. Let's see here.
I don't think the priest would swear though.
No, I don't think so. But let's just read some reactions from people online. This is posted by Brendan Guttenschwager. He seems to post a lot of the cool stuff that you see from these riots and stuff like that. He posts a lot of this stuff. How did folks react? Some commentators reacting to the clip didn't like the man's stance. A false preacher preaching lies. Somebody else thought he was a preacher too. While others expressed support for his action and contempt for the militants. That guy is brave as S, one commenter noted. White Antifa millennials can't stand a black man talking back, one user declared. Brooklyn Center population 30K plus. Where's the other 29,999 to stand with this man? Another commentator wrote. I believe you have these idiots outnumbered, folks. He makes a good point. And I actually have been thinking about this too. Like, it would be nice if conservatives would just like roll over these Antifa thugs every single time they come and protest. Like, if we had big enough groups, they come out in 1,000, we come out in 6,000, and we just roll over them, because the police aren't doing it, I mean, the police need to arrest every single person protesting out there. I mean, I'm done with this. I'm done with it. When you go in and you loot stores and you burn down buildings, no, you all need to be arrested. If you're part of that, just arrest those people.
I agree.
Protesting is a great thing. It's something that we should be able to do in America. Burning down buildings and looting Nike, those are not great things. Those are not things that we should be able to do in America. It's just amazing to me how the people that walk casually through the Capitol are insurrectionists, but these people are peaceful protesters. So every time I think about that, it's just... Anyway, let's see here. Bless this man for trying to diffuse all those angry protesters from the police, another user said. Wish they would listen to him. Can't help but notice the white voices screaming at him, another commenter observed. I think for some it's a sport, sadly, which is not what it should be about. I listened to somebody today talk about how a lot of young people, and this is something that I've postulated in the past, a lot of young people really just like to rebel and like to do this kind of stuff. Like, this is fun. So, as long as it's being facilitated, there's people who are willing to come do it. And they don't really care about they want some kind of an issue that they can get behind. But that's not really the reason they're doing it, I don't think. It's just because they want to do it, Let's see here. Telling a black man, yo, get the F out of here, for those that are there and support Black Lives Matter, another user noted. What a world we live in. After the dust had settled, these Antifa clowns will be back in Seattle or Portland, and this man will be in Minneapolis cleaning up the mess these pricks left, another user opined, all for the sake of racial justice. Hold on, I need something harder to throw at my cat. Come on. Get. He's confused. He's just confused now. Oh, I have cigars. I can throw that at him.
Hey, no.
They're wrapped in
He's
little...
fine.
All right. Darling,
Yes.
I think we're done with this story. Would you like to read the next one?
Okay. Next story
Yes.
is Black Lives Matter calls criticism of co-founder terror by white supremacists.
Yeah, this is kind of funny. All right. So this is a simple story. Not much to it. Just, again, everything that conservatives do is racist. I will throw some things at him. Let's see. Oh, napkin over here. It doesn't even move. He doesn't even move now. He's just so used to it. I need harder things to throw. I'm too nice. I'm like the Republicans. I'm too nice to my cat. All right, let's see here. Black Lives Matter says criticism of co-founder who bought 4 houses is terror by white supremacists. Let's see here. We've seen this tactic of terror time and time again of criticizing black people for being hypocritical. That's
I
terrorism.
think we need to send more money to Black Lives Matter Foundation because the houses that she bought,
They're not that nice. Yeah, I saw them. It was like, I think she got ripped off. Because
I think she's gonna do Airbnb for, I don't know, for
oh, you think she's gonna?
yeah, like two like crappy houses you can like use as Airbnb, make some money on it. Like if I would make $100,000 on this Dogecoin,
Yeah.
I will buy a nice condo in Texas and like do Airbnb.
I think that if we spent the amount of money she spent on houses, we'd have something a lot nicer than what she's got. I think she's getting ripped off. I don't think she quite understands how to invest her money. I suspect that what happened was she had some kind of financial planner come in and tell her like these houses are good investments. So that's probably what happened. She's trying to exploit the she's trying to exploit the capitalist system that we have in order to make more money and live a better life, because despite her rhetoric, she knows that the money she's making in this capitalist system is actually going to give her a better life, higher quality of life, which is what capitalism is all about. It's about giving people a better quality of life. So it's funny that she enjoys capitalism, but she preaches communism for everybody else. Mm-hmm. But that's really what communism is, isn't it? It's a few at the top enjoying high quality of life, and everybody at the bottom, just bottom feeding. Just everybody else is just scum and has to live in poverty. All right, well, let's have a look at this story. So, Black Lives Matter claimed Tuesday that criticism of co-founder Patrisse Cullors is a product of the product of a right-wing offensive that continues a tradition of terror by white supremacists. What's the background? Well, Cullors found herself at the center of a controversy last week when her latest real estate purchase, a $1.4 million home in Topanga Canyon. We're actually going to go to Topanga Canyon and just like spend the day there and just see what it's like. And we're going to record it for you. And we're going to do a video for Mr. Reagan. We're going to do that this weekend.
Where is it?
Topanga Canyon is like near Malibu.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
It's nice there.
The New York Post then revealed that actually Cullors has purchased 4 homes in the U.S. over the past 5 years, 3 in California and 1 in Georgia. According to the Post, Cullors even considered buying a property in an exclusive area of the Bahamas where Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake reportedly own a property. Darling, when Dogecoin goes to the moon, can we get a place there?
Where?
In the Bahamas, next to Timberlake? It's a joke. You're supposed to just go along with it.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you, darling. That's
okay.
I'll teach her comedy one of these days, ladies and gentlemen. I tried to give her the basics of yes and, but she doesn't remember. Okay, let's move on. The news triggered renewed scrutiny about the finances of Black Lives Matter, which raked in more than $90 million in 2020 alone. Yeah, they haven't actually disclosed how much they made, but they did say they made $90 million, which I think is a lot more than that, actually. I think that's actually very low, but that's what they said they made. Now, what did Black Lives Matter say? The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation said in a statement that Cullors is a volunteer and doesn't take a salary. And then they talked about how much money she made. So I mean, who knows where she's getting her money? I mean, I assume it's from like, I think she has like a Netflix deal, and
Really?
she wrote a book that's selling very well, and because leftists buy into this garbage. But what do critics say? Most notably, prominent critics who spoke out against con colors over the weekend are not white. For example, Hawk Newsom, leader of Black Lives Matter Greater New York City, said there should be an independent investigation into Black Lives Matter and its finances. If you go around calling yourself a socialist, you have to ask how much of your own personal money is going to charitable causes, Newsom wrote the New York Post. It's really sad because it makes people doubt the validity of the movement and overlook the fact that it's the people that carry this movement. We need black firms and black accountants to go in there and find out where the money is going. Yeah, they need specifically black accountants. Meanwhile, black journalist Jason Whitlock was allegedly suspended from Twitter after criticizing con colors in her most recent, real estate purchase. About her most, it says, and her most recent real estate purchase. Black Lives Matter founder buys $1.4 million home in Topanga, which has black population of 1.4%, Whitlock tweeted mockingly last Friday. She's with her people. She's with rich white people, which was who she really wanted to be along with, to like live with all along. Geez, I really messed that up, didn't I? I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on with me. But anyway, yeah, in fact, I have that story open. But yeah, Whitlock, let's see here. Yeah, there he is. There he is. What a great guy. This is a great guy. He's been banned from Twitter, and actually he refuses to delete his tweet. And it doesn't even make sense because the tweet is just news. He just tweeted news. And Twitter's like, "Oh, we can't let this news go out. You got to delete it, or we're suspending your account." And he won't delete it. So he's just off Twitter. And like I love what he's doing because he's making a stand, and he's kind of showing how ridiculous Twitter is and how he won't bend the knee to them. But it's drawing attention to it, and I think that that's important because, Twitter is obviously acting unfairly and ridiculously and biased. But anyway, yeah, the con colors thing I think is quite funny. Of course they're going to call it racist if we criticize her. Of course they are. I mean, that's not even a question. But I would like to see the area that she's going to be living in if she moves into that place with her lesbian girlfriend or wife or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, so she's a hypocrite. I think we all knew that. But all socialists at the end of the day are hypocrites because nobody wants to live in poverty, but every communist always says they want everybody else to live in poverty together. Harmonious poverty. Darling, I believe we have one more story.
I don't see it.
Oh, is that it? Are we done?
Can you check because I...
No, yeah, we're done. That's great. Okay. We are done with the news. Now, as always, we will take your questions and comments.
Okay, I think I saw one super chat. I don't know if you had any super chats before that.
Nope, we don't have it. We only have one $5 super chat. So
okay, then super chat from Slayer. What are your thoughts on legislating morality? Politicians have to keep passing legislation to justify their existence.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that politicians really have to do as much work as they think they do. I think at this point, we're at a point in history in which it would actually be better for politicians to start deregulating. I think it would be good for politicians to start to go through the books, find out which legislation needs to be erased from the books, and start getting sort of deregulating. That's what Trump was doing when he was in office. He wasn't quite as effective as we would have hoped, but I think he deregulated more than any other president in history. So good for him. Let's see here. Jeff Beal says, have you read the study by Dr. Falsey that he did in 2015 about masks making people sick? No, I haven't read that. That's pretty funny. But I do remember that at the beginning of the pandemic, they were concerned that there wasn't going to be enough masks for the healthcare workers.
I remember that.
And so they went around saying, "Oh yeah, if you wear masks, then you're going to get sick, and it's not a good idea." And they said they had all these reasons why wearing a mask was a terrible idea, and it wasn't going to help you. It wasn't going to help you stop getting sick. It wasn't going to help you stop spreading the virus. Like, masks are pointless. And then as soon as they had enough mass production, they were like, okay, we totally lied. All of that was a lie. We're just kidding. Ha 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 ha. Everybody needs to wear 2 masks. Everybody has to wear 2 masks. It's crazy.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. All right, well, I guess, oh, here we go. Frank James, Valeria must do a Bitcoin video. Yeah, well, we're going to do one for Mr. Reagan.
We're not.
No, we can't not. We have to because you're too good at it.
No.
It's really funny
Just be
because,
lucky.
well, we're just going to do it like for beginners. You know, we're not going to claim to be experts, even though I do call you an expert.
I'm not.
I know you're not really an expert. Okay, it's an exaggeration. She's my wife. I'm going to say nice things about her, but
you like being too nice to me.
I am. But but the truth is, you do have a kind of fundamental understanding about how the whole thing works, and you can give, a basic breakdown of if people want to get into it.
There's lots of videos on YouTube for beginners, and there is perfect English language explanation. Me explaining something in English. If you can't explain it simply, then you don't know what you're talking about. So I can't, unfortunately.
Well, we'll have you say it in Russian.
What do you mean?
Well, like speak Russian right now.
Chris.
Speak Russian.
No, I'm not gonna
Speak Russian. Speak
No,
Russian.
I'm not.
Come on, this will be funny.
No.
Say something in Russian. I'll translate.
No.
I got to get her a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera. She gets a little bit shy sometimes. Oh no, I do not want to speak Russian. It's so embarrassing for me. All right. Jeff Beal also writes, since Schumer got an erection from the Patriots on January 6th, does it mean he's a racist for not getting one from the black riots? That's pretty funny. Jesus is God writes, what are your thoughts on how we as conservatives, how we should act and behave while the left are plotting our internment in the gulags? At the moment, well, look, on a personal level, you should always be respectful and nice to Democrats. Because, and this is genuinely, I think of this as in a strategy way, as well as in a, as well as just in a moral way. As a Christian man, I think you should be respectful and kind to everyone. Maybe not like convicted
Come here.
child molesters and stuff like that. Maybe you could be mean to them, but you know what I mean? Generally with most people, you should always be respectful and kind to everyone. But even from a strategic point of view, think about it like this, guys. The left is constantly going after themselves, right? They will get into a debate about whether or not you should use certain pronouns. And if you have slightly the wrong view, like the woman who wrote the Harry Potter, what's her name? J.K. Rowling, then they'll cancel her, right? They'll attack her. They'll go after her. And J.K. Rowling had 3 or 4 conversations with conservatives in which conservatives were super respectful to her and really kind and nice. And then she went and she made some kind of like pronoun thing. She said the wrong thing about that. And then the left went mental and attacked her. Oh, Aston's getting a little bit of screen time here.
Come here. Come here.
Aston.
Don't be so annoying. Don't be so annoying. Just lay here.
Just hang out. Hang out.
Lay down. Lay down.
He's restless. He slept all day and now he's restless. That contrast of her experience debating a conservative and them being so nice and loving and sweet and charming and delightful, and her debating the leftists and them being so ruthless and cruel and awful. What is she going to think? She's going to think, actually, maybe I'm on the wrong team. And that's actually how I've found that a lot of people have been red-pilled. A good friend of mine called me up one day and he said, yeah, I think I'm going to vote for Trump because all the people in Hollywood that I talk to, they're all
2024?
No, this is 2020.
2020.
And he's like, yeah, all the people that I talk to in Hollywood, they're such vicious, horrible people. They all hate white men and everything. And what?
Look at the cat. Look at the cat in the screen. It's hilarious.
Well, we could just switch to you. There you go.
I just think he's so handsome.
All right, you can distract everything. He's
so handsome. Can I just say that?
But the point I'm trying to make is always be nice in your personal conversations with leftists. I know it's very difficult sometimes. You want to scream at them. I'm personally talking to a couple of leftists right now that I'm just like, how can you think these things? How can you think these things? And a lot of times it's very difficult to even win because even if you present them with all the evidence and all the logic and all the reason, they still won't accept it. And so you're going to find it's impossible to convince them anyway, but just be nice. Just be nice, because that's how you turn people. And like I said, I had this friend, and he remembered that when I would debate him about politics, I was always respectful about it, despite the fact that, I'd say, well, it's okay that you're an idiot, stuff like that. But, I was being joking around about it and stuff like that. So, yeah. Jeff Beal says, did you see the Change My Mind Crowder did?
Okay, you can switch the camera.
Oh, yeah. The students never mention Crowder on my show ever. No, I'm kidding. I like Crowder. Crowder's all right. I'm just kidding. The students seem to kind of have fun. Gives me hope for the future. Well, Crowder did a whole ton of Change My Mind videos, and some of them were better than others. The earlier ones were better, I think, because people didn't know what to expect. Once people started to figure out what it was, they stopped engaging, and I don't think he can even do them anymore because people just kind of refuse to engage. This guy named Chris K, that's basically the same name as mine, except obviously we probably have a different last name. He writes, I don't know about cryptocurrency, but I think I'm putting my money in shotguns and canned goods. Well, that's definitely a strategy. Let's see here. Trisha's Healthy Appetite writes, did you hear about the Army drill instructor and the black kid? I did not hear that.
I
No.
didn't hear.
No. I'll have to look it up, I guess. Larry, do you want to read some things while I look that up?
Yes, of course. Cat looks like a leopard.
True story. Oh, he's suspended over shoving because he shoved some kid.
Chris, do you know what happened today at work? Not happened.
What
but
happened?
It has something to do with shoving.
Yeah.
I worked on a TV
Derek
show
Chauvin?
for children.
Mm-hmm.
It's a children TV show from Disney, and there was a holding area where there was children, kids. I mean kids, parents, just a big holding area with the TV.
It had children and kids?
Children, kids, parents. Because it's a kids show. And they always have this huge TV, and you can see what's going on stage. It's a sitcom, so you can see what are they doing and shooting, because parents have to see their kids. It's kind of like a rule. And I'm walking in the holding, and I
Probably a
see...
law. It's probably a law.
It's a law, yeah. And guess what I see? I see a news channel, KTLA, Chauvin, court hearing, that guy got shot, like all of this news all over. I was like, it's the first time when I see on the studio when there is TV plays this news, like all over. It's like, it shouldn't be like this.
Why?
Well, because it's not how it's supposed to. It was before.
What do you mean? Like it's a problem that they have the news on?
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's a problem.
Because this TV is meant to turn on what are they shooting inside the stage, so parents can see their kids.
And somebody turned on the news instead?
No, not nobody controlled TV except the crew.
Right. Yeah, it was probably an accident.
Well, it was a weird accident, and like 1 hour, 2 hours, they don't change it, and eventually they changed it. But I was like,
yeah, it's probably just somebody in the morning who was using the TV to watch the news and then forgot to change it back.
Played all of this stuff, and I'm watching. It's like the same stuff over and over again, over and over again, like leftist.
Yeah.
I'm like,
what? So it's KTLA. I don't know. Yeah, I assume they're pretty left wing. I don't really watch the local news here.
It's like how white people basically killing
black people. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why that message is so pervasive. It's like, I understand why the left wants it to be pervasive, but the fact that people accept it to me is like weird. It just totally contradicts reality. We all lived, all of you guys out there, you grew up going to school in America. Probably most of you had some black kids in your school, or some, if you went to a mostly black school, you probably had some white kids in your school, and there's probably some Hispanics, some Asians, and, how much racism did you experience growing up? Like, just think about how many racists did you meet when you were growing up? Probably not that many. Like, a lot of people go, oh, my uncle's pretty racist. Okay, yeah. Some people have a racist uncle or something like that. But for the most part, we don't run into a lot of white racists in America when we're growing up. Like, very few people I know have ever met any racists. But we're supposed to believe there's all this white supremacy in America. It's weird to me that people watch CNN, they hear about all this white supremacy, and they somehow forget their own life. They forget the fact that they lived a life, they met thousands of people in that life, and they never met any white supremacists, or they met very few maybe. And instead, they just accept some reporters, somewhat reporters telling them, oh, yeah, no, there's all this white supremacy that you hear about. Really? Oh, I didn't experience that growing up, but you must be right because you're a reporter on TV telling me this. Let me tell you this, guys. Most reporters are morons, okay? They read the news that's put in front of them. Occasionally you get a smart one, but most of them are idiots. You get producers, some of them are writing their own stories. Some of them are just reading off the teleprompter. A lot of them are idiots. They might be well-spoken. They might look very intelligent, but most of them aren't. You get some smart, almost all the really, truly intelligent reporters and journalists are on the right, at least the ones that I've seen. The ones on the left that are smart are particularly sinister. All right, and just remember, if you vote for a Democrat, you are voting for a criminal. Is that it for us? Is that it for the show?
I think that's it.
All right, guys, we will see you guys tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is Friday, correct?
Tomorrow is Friday.
The last day of the week, so weekend's coming.
Yeah.
That'll give us some time to get some work done. I'm looking forward to that.
Working.
I have my... Are you going to work through this? Are you not going to be here? Are you not going to be here tomorrow for this?
I hope I will make it because today was unusual. I wasn't supposed to work until so late, but they had some stuff going on, so...
Okay. All right,
but
guys.
I made it. I made it.
Whether or not Larry's here, I will be here tomorrow, and we will go over more news stories, and we will dissect them. We will talk about how ridiculous the left is, and hopefully everything will be better, and they'll prove, what happened with the election wasn't quite right, and Trump will be in office, and everything will be nice. Hopefully that happens tomorrow. I'm a dreamer, okay? Give me my dreams. All right, that's it for us. Remember, we are the least professional show on television. I'm toxic, she's masculine. Together we are toxic masculinity.
Which host of the show is always late for the show.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Darling, I'm waiting for you to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Good night. Toxic masculinity.